Welcome to Parenting Powerhouse Podcast, where we explore strategies and insights to empower parents navigating the challenge of raising people with ADHD or ASD. I'm Tara Travell, and in today's episode, we'll delve into effective strategies and tips for parenting these exceptional individuals. We'll discuss real-life examples and discuss overcoming fears related to their independence and milestones in their early 20s. Because parenting a young adult with ADHD or Asperger's can present so many unique challenges, especially when it comes to fostering independence and helping them achieve their milestones. Today, we're going to shed some light on this topic. So to kick things off, there are some common fears parents might have about their young adult not meeting milestones or being independent that we will look into. And one common fear that I find that parents face is the uncertainty surrounding their child's future. They worry about their ability to live independently, secure a job, and or maintain relationships. It's important to acknowledge these fears while also recognizing that each individual's journey is unique. Are you dealing with this? Have you dealt with it? And what can we do about it? So, how can parents navigate these fears and support their young adults effectively? Well, communication and understanding play pivotal roles. Just meeting your child where they are today. They might be emotionally a few years behind typical peers, right? Well, there's nothing wrong. It's not something that needs to be fixed. They're not broken. They don't need to be changed. It just is what it is. And as they are developing at a different pace, we need to match that pace with expectations. Are we doing that? Maybe just draw a timeline on a piece of paper and take a look at typical milestones, the norms. Okay, what are we taught when we're younger? What have we gone through? What do people talk about as far as a driver's license, graduating high school, going on to the next level, whether it's job, independent living, whatever it is, write it all down and take a look at the ages that you put down for these specific milestones. And then we really have to think about, okay, where is our young adult? Are they meeting these norms, these milestones? Probably not. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Their pace is most likely just a little slower. So it could be 3, 4, 5 years slower. So let's draw this timeline again. And wherever they are right now, they might be right around one of these milestones, and mark that spot. And then as they go through and learn or complete that milestone, then mark it again. How long did it take? That could probably give us an indication as to how long it's going to take for each of these milestones. So, matching the expectations. That's what that will do for you. I also want you to think about what it feels like to be pushed to do something you're not ready for. And I've thought about this for myself because, like I said, meeting your child where they are today, trying to really just meet them where they are. So it could be because, we're not confident if we're pushed and we don't want to do something, maybe not knowledgeable enough, or can't comprehend the consequences. They are good or bad consequences. But I always bring myself back to feeling peer pressure, to recreate the feeling in order to step into the child with autism's shoes. The experience that I remember is standing on the side of a cliff, and I was an adult with my adult siblings, standing on the side of a cliff on Raystown Lake, as everyone was jumping in from different levels. Could have been 10, 15, 20 feet. They were jumping in safely. They were just fine, but I could not do it. Even with everyone yelling for me to do it, that it was fun, safe, I just couldn't do it. I was not ready to do it. So I climbed down from about 12 or 15 feet to probably about 6 or 7 feet and jumped into the water. I did it the way that I felt I could. And when we provide these much smaller steps, these baby steps, our kids may make progress when they are ready. And if I wasn't ready that day, maybe the next day I would have jumped from 6 or 7 feet. Everybody's different, but it should be looked at as progress, as steps, to even take any risk, even if it's very, very small. So when we're thinking about what's going on in our kids' brain, it really has to do with the lack of executive skills, because it takes executive skills to organize all of the information, the known and the unknown to them, to be able to even take a step forward or make a decision. So once we are looking through their lens, not our lens, to understand the world, it will open a new form of communication with them and empower them to learn and control their thoughts and life one step at a time. They will actually feel that they can open up to us and trust us in a different way, because we actually are listening to them and they feel that they're not alone. So that point, once we get to that point, we actually encourage the open dialogue, about their aspirations, their concerns, fears, maybe even their goals, which will allow parents to provide tailored support to meet your kid where they are today, and empowering them to embrace their strengths while addressing challenges helps them build the self-confidence to take the next risk. So I'm going to share just a real short real-life example illustrating how parents can navigate this journey effectively. I worked with a family whose son had ADHD, an adult, and he struggled with time management and organization. So he couldn't keep a job because he was always late. He couldn't organize just to shower and get dressed in time and eat. Maybe he'd leave without eating. So it was really difficult, and the parents were frustrated, and they contacted me, and I became the young adults coach. And together we devised a visual schedule by talking about it, by thinking about everything that he felt that he needed to get control of. Not his parents, but at this point, it was what he felt. And once he felt heard, he heard himself and realized that he did know what was important. It wasn't just what everybody was telling him. He knew what was important. So he took ownership of it, and he incorporated some technology to aid his daily routines, which he kept blowing off prior to this. And over time, because he took control, he owned it, his independence grew as he developed his own strategies that suited his needs. So what can parents do then, specifically, to implement to assist their young adults in achieving independence? Well, what parents can do is aid in their young adults' understanding and independence in a way that they feel confident in themselves, that they are making these decisions. So structured routines and gradual independence building exercises are going to be beneficial. Really encouraging the self-advocacy skills, making them aware that they do have control, they do have say, but they have to work through it, and not everything is going to be perfect at first. Some of the things they want to do or not want to do to us may seem immature or it's not going to work, but you know what? They have to figure that out, right? Otherwise, it's not going to work for them, because they have to feel the successes or the failures to learn. So teaching the self-advocacy skills and fostering a supportive network really proves to be invaluable. So another thing is just exploring vocational and educational opportunities aligned with their interests and strengths. So how do we find that out? It's not from a test. outsourcing this information to find out. The assessments, can give us an indication, but it's really trying to help our young adult become self-aware. What are they good at? What do they really like to do? What is easy for them? Whatever the terms are, to help them realize that they do like to do things. They do have strengths. And usually strengths come with ease. Things that are easy to learn, things that are easy to do, things that we really like. And that will start the conversation and the exploration into what other things are similar to that. Because our young adults with autism, they may only see what they see. And it may be very difficult executively to think about things related to that interest or strength. So what final advice can I give for you parents navigating this journey? Patience and resilience are key. And one thing I always go to when I'm thinking about patience, because boy, it can be frustrating, right? And our buttons can be pushed. And when they are, then there's not going to be communication, at least positive communication that's going to get us somewhere. So how to become patient? Well, first of all, I always talk about the 3 R's. Recognize, right? We first have to recognize that this is happening. How are we feeling? Maybe how are they feeling? And we may need to kind of step back a little bit. And once we step back, then comes to the second R, rationalize. Because I bet you when we're in the moment and we're feeling really heated and, our feelings are kind of like, at a high level of frustration, we're not going to rationalize. So we have to rationalize before we do anything else. Once we rationalize and say, wait a minute, this is something that we can just tackle together. It's a new experience. So let's try to reframe this scenario or this feeling, and then we can respond. Responding before we rationalize is not going to help the situation. And oftentimes it makes it worse, right? So recognize, then rationalize, then respond. So embrace the journey and understand that progress might come in very, very small steps. Okay, we've talked about that. Another thing is to celebrate their uniqueness and focus on their strengths while providing the guidance. And remember, supporting them emotionally and fostering independence go hand in hand. So I want you to join us next time to hear the real life story from our guest host as she shares her parenting journey with a now adult on the spectrum. Cheryl Fortunato will dig into heartfelt moments to uncover the intricate world of this dedication as a mom. Together, we're going to explore the challenges she tackles daily, the milestones that light up her world, and the simple joys that paint the bigger picture of her journey. See you next time to hear from this special guest.